All right, guys, we've got a short and sweet episode for you today. Just very quickly answering the question, can you bid against yourself on Amazon PPC? What a lot of people think is that if you have the same keyword in two different campaigns, then because of the auction based system, you're going to be increasing the bids for yourself. And therefore, you need to be extra sure that you don't have any duplicate keywords anywhere in your account. Otherwise, you're increasing your own CPCs. So, Andrew, what do you say to that?
I'd say that's nonsense. And I'll just go ahead. I just did a little search on ChatGPT just to have it do the research for me and see if it could find anything directly from Amazon that lays this out for us. But what it says is while Amazon's official documentation doesn't explicitly state that the system prevents advertisers from bidding against themselves, there are indications that the platform is designed to minimize self competition in PPC campaigns. And it goes on to say, while this behavior is observed anecdotally by advertisers, it's important to note that Amazon's official resources do not provide explicit confirmation of this mechanism. So, nothing straight from Amazon, but I think, you and I have both seen in our own campaigns that we are not paying exorbitant amount of CPCs and all that on our brand defense and things like that. Like we're not competing against our own bids.
And that's so weird because I'm almost positive that it is explicitly said from Amazon and, like, at least in the, maybe not in any, like, public, like, articles, but if you're signed into the learning console, the Amazon Ads learning console, if you're taking the sponsored ads, like, certification, I'm pretty sure they talk about it in there. And because that's not, like, publicly accessible on Google, that's maybe why Chat didn't, figure it out, ChatGPT. But, I have confirmed with multiple Amazon reps, and you can ask any of your Amazon reps, that it does not work, that way, that campaigns are not competing against campaigns in the auction. The auction itself is at the account level, and, it's pretty easy to prove this because the way Amazon works is it is a second price auction, which I think everyone knows this, but what a second price auction means is you only pay 1 penny more than the second highest bid. So if Andrew's bidding a dollar and I'm bidding 90 cents on a keyword and we're going head to head, he only has to pay 91 cents. And it makes sense why Amazon would do that, right? If they always made you pay your bid, Andrew would be afraid to bid $10 because what if Amazon charges him $10? But if he knows $10 is basically just guaranteeing him the top spot and he's only going to pay 1 penny more than number 2, and then if I'm bidding a dollar, Andrew's now paying a dollar and 1 cent, even though his bid was $10. So that's why you can have these really high bids and lower CPCs if, the second price auction, the second highest bidder is quite a ways below you. Now, the way to really prove this point, because we've seen accounts where people have these runaway bids because they've got these automated systems that are just increasing to infinity and beyond. And we had like a brand, for example, where they were bidding $25 on their brand defense keywords in multiple campaigns, and they were only paying like 50 cents per click. Well, if they have the brand defense exact match keyword and the identical keyword that's also exact match, that's $25 on both of those in two separate campaigns, their bid should be $25 or 24.99. So the fact that it wasn't kind of proves that point there, because what is fact is that Amazon's second price auction, and so the way it would work is that both of those keywords would have $25 CPCs if that was the case. So I think that basically answers it.
Yep, that pretty well proves it, Steven. And I also have one other thing. I just saw this post on LinkedIn that I thought was pretty funny. It was from Isaac Gross or Gross. I'm not sure how you say his last name, but he posted this, and maybe we'll throw up the screenshot here. This campaign that got $145.39 CPC on one of his accounts that he was auditing or managing or something. So, that just means that at some point somebody also was upbidding and or was bidding $145.38 on whatever keyword that was. And I think there's a pretty high AOV products, but still, that's what it took. It took that other competitor cranking those bids up to really force you to get charged that.
You think that might have been like a VCPM campaign with like a super low click through rate that when calculating the CPCs, it went astronomically high. 'Cause it could have been like a sponsor display campaign that was offsite.
Could have. It didn't get too specific in it.
I've seen that. That's the only time I've ever seen CPCs that high.
Pretty wild. That's probably the highest one I've seen.
Yeah, if you guys are bummed that this is a short episode you wish you had more information, go watch the episode on bid ceilings, how to calculate bid ceilings, when to use bid ceilings, because this is exactly the case where people can have bids running up to literally $100 bids, and they're getting away because they only have a $1 CPC because no one else is managing bids as poorly as they are. But one day, if one of your competitors starts managing bids just as poorly as you are, you will suddenly start seeing $100 CPCs. So that's how the auction works. And the key takeaway there is make sure you use those bid ceilings so you don't get caught with your pants down in those scenarios. And also, you don't need to stress so much about only ever having one keyword in one campaign. So you can definitely, relax there. There may or maybe other reasons why you might want to go with that keyword isolation method, but bidding against yourself is not that reason.
All right, I think that pretty much sums it up, Steven. Everybody watching, make sure you subscribe. We got some bangers coming up, so we'll see you there.
All right, see you next week.